this is where the paper flapping continues. They have been given the questions in advance. I'm just going to tell you that. But that doesn't mean to say I'm going to ask them the same questions. Okay, we ready, folks? We're going to do a little bit of microphone juggling. We've got one mic only, so we'll be passing the mic around. What I'd like to do, first of all, is perhaps, we've had your first name, but I wonder if you could introduce yourself and your business, what it's all about. So shall we start with you, Rich?
Hi guys, yes, I'm Richard Turner. I own a workplace wellbeing company called Employees Health, and I go into the corporate or small businesses and help them improve their health and wellbeing. And we kind of do that through giving holistic education around the things they can do, practical actions they can take to improve both their happiness, their mental health, their physical health, and some of the other bits and pieces which go into that, basically.
Thank you very much. Could you pass to maybe Hannah?
Hello, I'm Hannah. I have a business called Fond Company, which basically sell my illustrated home and giftware, which is funny animal themed. I've had Fond Company. I've been self-employed for about 8 years, but Fond Company is about 3 years old now.
Thank you very much. I've had a look at Hannah's stand. I hope you will do too. I have a boxer dog, and she has a coaster of the cutest boxer dog. So I will be heading out and purchasing as many as I can for my family. So yeah, it's great. Oh, you have one too? You have oh, wow. It's a boxer fan club up here. Fantastic. We'll have a lot to talk about, I'm sure. We will indeed. So here we go. Here goes to our first question to our... Did you want us to introduce yourself? That might be a good idea, Julie. I'm so glad she's my co-host. I know. It's fabulous. Thank you, Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie Flower, and I have a leadership development practice called The Specialist Generalist, and I tend to work with sort of medium to large organisations looking at all aspects of leadership. And sometimes I bring in slightly idiosyncratic techniques like improvised comedy, but not tonight.
I thought it was going to be a line then. Hi, I'm Richard Larkman. I've got two businesses. I've got a property development business, and also I've got a business that looks at business turnaround on a consultancy basis.
Very much indeed. Just to say, it's quite helpful if you hold the mic close to the mouth. It'll sort out any feedback or whatever, okay? So we can all hear you. So here we go for the first question. I like this question, actually. It's quite an ironic question. What made you think starting a business was a good idea? Rich.
Yeah, I did see that question to start with. I was like, who thinks it's a good idea? You obviously haven't seen what business is like. But I suppose I kind of just fell into it. Being a personal trainer and working in the service industry, I've always kind of been self-employed or contracted. So I never saw it as any different until 2 years down into running an enterprise, you realise that being a self-employed personal trainer is different to running a business. But I'm very much one of these people. I like to have my flexibility and my freedom to do what I want when I want to do it. And I also had a parent which also did the same on their own business, so I kind of saw life going in that direction. Whether that's a good idea or not, we'll find out in the next 5 or 10 years. But yeah, it's been fun so far.
Thank you. Hannah?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I've always been creative, and when I was doing my A-levels, I did a module on becoming a professional artist and making money from doing art, and that's not really ever spoken about. And from that moment on, I just wanted to own my own business. That was it. I wanted to run a business by the time I was 30. Like, that was the goal I set myself. And I think it was kind of, so desire and also circumstances that I did 2 years in a professional services job, and I just really hated it. Just wasn't for me at all. I wanted the freedom of actually doing something creative and being able to make money out of something I actually really enjoyed. So.
I'm sure loads of us can relate to the whole theme of being your own boss. There's nothing like it, is there? No, it's fantastic. Now to our mentors. Why mentoring? Julie, why mentoring?
It's a good question. Actually, I think from my own personal experience, I benefited from mentoring when I was thinking of starting my own business 11 years ago and realised how impactful it was for me. So when I saw the Camp Foundation 6 years ago, I think, was advertising for mentors, I decided to step in. I'd got some experience of mentoring, but with young people at risk of offending. So not the same demographic here, but actually, you know, really the chance to have some impact in whatever field. And so I'd really enjoyed doing that. And I thought it was a great chance to make a difference in the local community and to build relationships. So, yeah, that's how I got involved.
So I share some of the want to work in the local community and giving things back. For me, I was an early retiree, so I wanted to retire into something. So I became a trustee of a couple of homeless charities, but also wanted to do something outside of that, work with different types of people. I love business, I worked in business, so this seemed like a really good opportunity to do that. And echoing some of the issues earlier, I've had business failure as well, so it's not all success, and I wanted to help out on that basis as well.
Thank you so much. Now, here is the crucial question. Mentees, are they any good? Yeah, what have you gained from this mentoring relationship? Who do we start with first last time? So we'll start with Hannah. We'll give Hannah first hit. So, you know, are they any good? Let's know.
Well, let's just say, probably if I hadn't had any mentoring, I definitely wouldn't have been sat up here. Like, I think probably the biggest thing for me with my mentoring, and that I've worked a lot with Julie on, is my confidence. And I've always felt like that imposter syndrome of you're not where you should be on your business journey, or like what your level of success is. Like, success is different for everyone. Like, you might want to run a multi-million-pound business, but that's not what I think success is. So yeah, Julie's been really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I echo some of that, and I don't know if anybody's read the book The E-Myth Revisited. He talks about 3 different types of people within business, so managers, your entrepreneur, and the creative side of that. I can't remember what that last one is. The technicians, the person which does the job. And I'm definitely more of the entrepreneur and the technician. I wasn't the manager, I wasn't there with the processes, and that's what Richard's helped me with. It's understanding the processes you have to go through, and things you don't really think about when you run a business. You think, actually, you do think you're going to do the job rather than actually what goes into running a business, and it's a bit different. I suppose, but that's where I go back to being a personal trainer is you are the technician, whereas you actually do everything. It's the hat you wear, and you need that support with that and understanding where all that comes from. So yeah, 100% great job.
Hold on to the mic, because I'll just yell. You can hear me at the back, can't you? Yes, brilliant. What has been, Rich, one of the main challenges for you starting a business? Or if there's one.
The main challenge, give me a chance to think about it. I mean, it's probably the most obvious thing in the last 3 years has been COVID, right? So that was probably a challenge for me within the wellbeing industry. There's probably a silver lining, but it's been a challenge to get out there and meet new people and have those kind of build those relationships you need to within business. And probably just that awareness of what running a business actually means. And you're kind of going through those, is it Hannah, I forgot already. Hannah said about just knowing when and what to do. I think that makes a big difference in understanding that you are always on a journey, and you live so much in the present that actually when you can look back and reflect, you're actually taking these steps forward you don't really know about. And so that's probably one of the big challenges, I guess.
Hannah, different question for you. The question for Hannah is, how do you see your business or maybe yourself developing? What does the future look like for Hannah's Hat Show?
That's not an easy answer though. I think again, like COVID has really changed what I think about my business and what I want to do. Like, it really has made me reflect on my interests and running a business, and it's still something I want to do, but I think I want more challenges. And I don't know what that might be in the form of, but I think it's always never being afraid to reinvent yourself and pick yourself back up. And if you're not doing something you really enjoy anymore, to have the confidence to move on and find what it is that you do enjoy. and I don't know what that is yet. And I'm not saying that Fund Company will be the be-all and end-all of that. I just think there's so many other things that I'm interested in as well and would like to explore.
Thank you so much, Hannah and Rich, for revealing a little bit about your businesses. Now, to our mentors, what has been the highlights of mentoring? There's some exchange giggles here going on. Okay, I'm looking forward to this highlight. Julie, what has been the highlights of mentoring for you?
Oh, lovely, thank you. And obviously, without breaking client confidentiality, I think kind of on a couple of levels, really. There are some of those external highlights. So just with the Hannah relationship, sitting up here with you, doing this sort of thing, it's so wonderful to hear you talk about what you've done and how you've developed. But actually, seeing her beautiful products, walking into local shops like in Canterbury, there's rock, paper, scissors, and just walking in and seeing my mentees' things in there looking so wonderful and professional. That's a buzz. And also, saving your blushes, Hannah won an award a couple of years ago for being a Kent woman in business. So again, those sorts of external things, but actually almost forgetting all of that, there are those moments during mentoring, during that relationship, which are just so powerful when you feel there's been a bit of a shift and you think, oh yeah, actually working together has been really beneficial. And that's, I think, what really satisfies me.
So this is something that surprised me from when I came in to actually experiencing it in reality. So I came in thinking I'd like the business milestones, and we've had them where you see the metrics change month on month. But the bit I've absolutely loved is seeing the development of the mentees, and Rich in particular. When I first met him, his business was on the back of a bit of paper, really, wasn't it? And it didn't really exist as a business. But not only has his business turned into a real business, but he's turned into a real business person and represents his brand and takes on sales and things that he never would have tried before. And that was a massively pleasant surprise, but it's great.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing your stories. We're going to give a huge round of applause in a moment, but the pain and anguish is not over yet. Are there any questions from the floor? Is there any burning question that anybody would like to ask? Right at the back. Miranda's going to do me a little running. Thank you, Miranda. Or you can shout.
Martin Small from the Chamber of Commerce and the Intermember Growth Fund. I assume when you started out in your business, you wrote a business plan. How often do you read it, and how regularly do you update it?
You assume wrong. Put your hands up if you wrote a business plan before you started a business. I didn't even know what one of those was. I suppose that's one of the reasons I joined the Ken Foundation, was to get that business plan and understand the process. I now look and I reflect every 3 months on kind of goals more than looking at my business plan, I guess. Probably just because I don't want to scare myself of how far I still need to go, but that's kind of what I do, more so.
I'm being told to hurry things along, so I will do that. I'll do as I'm told. One more question, if there's another question from the floor.
I'll ask one. So you mentioned COVID and how that was a big challenge for you. I'm wondering what are your pain points right now? Is there anything that you're particularly struggling with right now?
Company budget, making their decisions. I work in companies, and so the biggest thing at the moment is just the time it takes. I'm a startup business, and you live, as I said, you live in the present, you live where your cash flow is. But with companies, when you're trying to build these contracts, they can take 6 months. I had a call in September. 2 weeks ago, I had to reply to that call saying we'd like to do some work. And so that's my biggest challenge at the moment, is the time it takes to get the
It's like financial planning, cash flow, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Hannah, you're a producer, so and a creative. Are there some challenges for you at the moment?
Yeah, I think I'm really struggling to get stock at the moment. All of my producers are from the UK, but they have a worker shortage and don't have people working in the manufacturing. So I'm struggling. I'm still waiting for stock that I ordered 3 months ago that I ordinarily would have got in 2, maybe 3 weeks. And I think there's also quite a big shift between online and offline shopping. Throughout the pandemic, I saw a massive rise in online shopping, which you would expect, but now that has completely shifted to the other way, in that pretty much my entire sales are coming from the shops that I'm in rather than online. So I think, it's just market predictability, really. It's impossible to know.
Thank you so much, Hannah. And tonight is the most excellent opportunity to network together and to put heads together to solve some of these problems. So if you've got suggestions for Rich and for Hannah or for each other, then please do share those suggestions, those thoughts, those ideas, those problems, those challenges that you have. Shall we give an enormous round of applause to Richard, Hannah and Julie. Thank you very, very much.